I found that the fastest way for individuals to improve at selling is to understand human decision making so that they can influence humans to make a buying decision. In today's video, I am going to show the latest and most comprehensive model for decision making that I've found since the 18th century. In fact, this model was actually published in 2014 in the Annual Review of Psychology by psychologists from across the United States. This model shows how human beings make decisions, and it's drastically improved since the last time psychologists have proposed a decision-making model, which that last model came from the 18th century from a psychologist named Adam Smith. Now, if you're interested in human decision making and how this model can help you sell more as a sales professional, then stick around and get ready to take some notes. Whether you're a business owner, entrepreneur, investor, or a sales rep, you know that sales is the fastest way to financial freedom and abundance. But if you're anything like most sales professionals, then you've probably struggled in your sales performance from time to time. Well, the truth is, it's not your fault. And there is a solution to help you eliminate those hard days, weeks, or even months that you might be experiencing. Now, you've probably noticed a pattern already, but the professionals in any area of life are the ones who always focus on and master the fundamentals. But here's a scary fact. Surveys show that 70% of everyone who sells for a living describes themselves as social sellers and have never gone through any formal sales training. Now, I'm guessing you don't want to be counted in that 70%, especially if you have plans to do extremely well in your sales career. That's why I want to introduce you to Sales School, the Sales Pros Guide to Sales Fundamentals. Sales School is helping sales beginners and sales experts focus on the fundamentals of sales and human decision making so that they can leave their competition in the dust. Now, if that sounds like a school you'd enroll in, grab a pen and paper, take a seat, and let class begin. Hey everyone, welcome back to Sales School. In this video and in this chapter, which is chapter 3, we are going to be covering how do humans make decisions. But specifically, we're going to talk about the old model for decision making, the new model for decision making of what we understand about human beings, human behaviors, and human psychology over the past 30 years of research. Then we're going to take all of that, combine it together, and talk about how do human beings make decisions. And then, of course, we will leave you with what you should do next so that you're not lost on how to implement this information moving forward. Now, to dive right in, let's talk about the old model of decision making. Now, the entire reason that I even bring this up and that I talk about this when it comes to sales and how to improve your ability to influence, persuade, and sell is because we know that selling is essentially decision making. And the better that we understand decision making, the better that we can get at sales and improving our ability to sell and close other individuals, which means helping them make a decision. Now, the reason why I talk about this and bring it up is because individuals just like yourself who are looking to take their performance to the next level might be thinking and might be asking themselves, what is actually going to help me? How do I actually improve? Or what methods or strategies should I be using when it comes to how I sell and how I help other human beings make decisions? Now, in the past, most of the sales processes that you see are based off of what's called the old model of decision making, otherwise known as rational choice theory. Now, if you've never heard of rational choice theory before, I'm going to make it extremely simple for you right here and right now, and it'll explain most of the sales training that you see out there on social media or out there in the world today. But rational choice theory was actually created into the 18th century. So think about that for just a minute. We're in 2000s, right? 2023 of filming this video, and this decision-making model was used and created back into the 18th century, and we've had it all the way up as recent as 2014. So that really gives you perspective. If we've been using this same model for decision-making since the 18th century, we probably have some areas that we could improve or learn from when it comes to decision-making. So the old theory, the rational choice theory, is actually shown here on my screen. And how it works is it proposes that individuals, when they make a decision, they typically have to logically weigh up 3 different options that they have. Option A is typically doing the new behavior or getting the new thing that's been proposed to them. Okay, so in this instance, it would be your prospect or you making a decision to buy something. The other option is to continue doing exactly what you're doing and not do anything, right? So maybe this is your prospect seeing your product or service and then deciding not to use it or to not buy it because what they're doing or the status quo that they currently have is good for their life. So they just keep moving forward. Then the last option is to do something else, right? So instead of doing nothing or doing something that was proposed, which would be this first option A, they decide to do really the opposite or another thing related to A, and that's going to be known as something else, right? So this is the old model for decision making, and basically it just looks at how do human beings logically look at decisions and say, hey, how do I want to move forward? Well, the problem with this theory and the problem with this model for decision making is what we've learned in the past 30 years. And I think even beyond that, this has been around since the beginning of time, but all the research that we've done over the past 30 years continually reminds us that this is happening, that this is real, and this is how human beings actually make decisions. So let's actually talk about that. What is the new model of decision making? So this is actually a model I found several years ago that has made a massive difference in my life. And it's actually the main model that I use when I coach individuals one-on-one in group settings or even consult companies and sales teams. I'm always basing my training and my processes based on this model and what we found in this 2014 annual review of psychology. So this model is called the EIC model. That stands for emotion imbued choice model. So essentially that's a fancy way of saying this model shows how human beings are affected by emotions, and that all decisions are what we call state dependent. So we've learned that decision making is actually state dependent. And when individuals have some type of feeling or some type of state that's not congruent with making a decision, they typically won't move forward. Now, with this study, it was actually published in 2014 that combined all this research over the past 35 years. That's why I love to base my processes on this. Now, of course, when it comes to sales and developing and optimizing your process, you want to continually come back and make tweaks and improvements where you can. But this is a great starting point that most people don't even consider or start with when it comes to sales, and they're working based off of the old model. Now, for this model, if you guys actually want to learn more about how I use this model and how I introduce it into my training, you can actually go to my main website. It's found here at this link down below. I'll also include it down below this video, or if you drop or comment below this video website, I will send you this link, or you can just take it, plug it into your URL and go and visit that, because I talk more about this model of decision making in my main website and how it can actually help you when it comes to sales and being able to help more individuals make buying decisions. Now, what does this model actually propose? How does it work? This is the fancy draw that you'll actually find in this model. If you were to look up the EIC model for decision making or the emotion imbued model for decision making, you're going to find that it's actually online. It's published by Harvard, and this is what you're going to find in that publication. Now, to simplify this so that we can actually apply it, I like to simplify it down and make it really, really easy to understand. But essentially what this model proposes is that all human beings follow this exact same pattern or strategy when it comes to decision making. And this is the pattern. First, human beings have to experience an emotional trigger. After they have that emotional trigger, it then leads to what we call a logical justification. And then once they have the emotional trigger with the correct logical justification, they're then going to make a decision to actually move forward. So the decision to buy, the decision not to buy, depending on what emotional triggers they experience, and then also what emotional or logical justifications they come up with within their logical conscious or subconscious mind. Now, the reason that this can actually help you guys is it actually goes into depth if you learn about these different areas. So if you take all of them, and this is actually what I go through in my deeper trainings and my one-on-one or my group training programs, I teach you in those programs these 6 different areas that impact decision making, and we go through a process of developing these areas of influence and becoming world class at that. So once again, if you want to learn more about that, you can just go to my main website, plug in that URL and start learning how do human beings make decisions and how can I leverage these 6 areas of decision making to get a sale or to more consistently close deals and collect the income that I deserve. So, really, you guys, this is how human beings make decisions based off of the past 35 years of research that we have. And it's been proven and it's been actually published by psychologists across the United States. And once again, published in that Harvard review. So, you guys, that is it for today's training video. But I want to talk about the next steps before you go ahead to the next training video or the next chapter in this series. If you're watching this on social media, you can go ahead and comment below this video, Sales School, and I'm going to send you the link to this entire free course, completely for free, no strings attached, just so that you can have it in your back pocket, but then also have the ability to actually take the test and implement the retention testing that I've included in this curriculum. Now, if you're watching this in Sales School already, you have access to that free course, then you can just go ahead and take the pop quiz by clicking the link below this training video. That's going to take you to the chapter 3 pop quiz, where it's going to help you retain this information so you can apply it moving forward in your sales and developing your sales skill set. After you take that pop quiz, you can go ahead and go to the next training video, and I will see you guys in the next chapter.